Hello and welcome to Season of War. Alex and I are back at you tonight with another Age of Sigmar matchup. What I feel like is going to be a classic matchup with Teclis and the Lumineth Realmlords facing off against the Ossiarch Bonereapers.
Yep.
As you probably noticed, we are playing on a brand new set of terrain for the first time tonight. This terrain was actually chosen by our premium members as one of the new tables for us to build, so this is the first one we've gotten done. And they had voted for this terrain set, so happy to get it done and be playing on a new set for you guys. And as you know, our terrain is typically made with printable scenery, kind of our partners, using their digital files, which we 3D printed to build this beautiful scenery. It takes a huge chunk of work out, not having to do the physical building, sculpting and carving and all that. So awesome way to get beautiful sets of terrain on the table pretty quickly. And always want to give a shout out to our friendly local game store, XPlanet. Again, we're always big proponents of supporting the stores that you play at, your local hobby stores, especially during this tough time with the pandemic and everything, the whole world raging out of control. XPlanet's where I get my armies from, models, obviously paints, everything. Great local store, and they have an awesome web store with great stock as well. But all that said, do you want to take us through the mission and realm today?
All right. The realm will be in Shyish, which isn't overly relevant besides the terrain being nullification, so I'll get some extra unbinds.
Yeah.
You already have a ton of unbinds, but still, maybe you need some extra ones.
Why not?
Yeah. And then the mission today is Blood and Glory. So from the third battle round on, if you hold all 4 objectives, you just win. If nobody managed to get all four at any point, then it's whoever holds the most at the end. If it's tied, which there's only 2-2, is pretty
good
easy.
chance.
Then it goes down to kill points at the end.
Yeah, so especially with this terrain setup here, it's definitely going to be an interesting battle. We wanted to go with a thematic setup for the terrain, kind of with the first outing, and it looks great. It's a lot of fun. But it does make for some interesting choke points. Now, we can get to each other's objectives pretty easily, but going across the middle is a little bit tougher. There's a nice doorway open in the center for us, but it's kind of a little bit of a choke point. And then just to take you through my Lumineth list today, it's a pretty standard loadout with a couple of small tweaks that I'm trying out today. I have the Orlan Legion with 3 units of Sentinels and 3 units of Wardens. All 10s, except for 1 unit of Wardens, is a 20 block. So we have 40 Wardens in total, 30 Sentinels, and then my Cathalar. Outside of the battalion, I have Teclis, who's awesome, does everything he wants to do. Maybe not in this game, but... And then allied in, I have a single Alopex, who gives me kind of a speedy threat, and loaded out with the net, so he will be able to restrict pile-ins. Not necessarily to be huge in this game, but a useful tool, overall. I have a plethora of different spells on all my different units. Again, if you watched the last Lumineth battle report, I talked about wanting to diversify my spells, so look to the side of the screen to see what all those are. I'm not going to go through and name them. But put me in an okay position actually having that broad range of spells and having to spread out, because it couldn't just sit in one castle like my army really wants to do, and as you do as well.
Yep.
But that's me, so why don't you take me through your list?
All right. So I had seen in comments previously on OBR matchups that people had wanted to see more and more text, and you will not be seeing that today, unfortunately. But there are 40 more Mortec reinforcements on the way.
Yeah.
Along with Big Bone Daddy himself, Nagash.
Yeah, lots more stuff being built up for all of our armies and a couple new ones maybe.
Yeah. But what I am running today is 2 battalions. I've got the Mortec Shield Corps, which is the 3 Mortec and the Bone Shaper. And then I have the Mortec Ballistari, the 2 catapults, another Bone Shaper, and then another unit of Mortec. So 4 10s of Mortec, the Leech Cavalos, and Arcan the Black. The Leech Cavalos has... I should say that's all within the Null Myriad.
Yes.
Sort of the meta pick with all the casting heavy armies at the top of the range. So he's got the artifact from that, which makes it so that you can't save or negate his damage in any way. Another artifact, because I have 2 battalions, I got lots of them. He is allowed to roll a 4-up and then do his healing.
So potentially heal 3 wounds twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the other one has another artifact, which will allow him to give the Deathless on a 5-up instead of a 6-up. His spell is the Reinforce Battle Shields. His spell is the Empower Weapons. And then Arcan knows all the spells.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much it on my side.
Yeah, definitely going to make for an interesting matchup. This kind of Null Myriad build against a magic heavy casting army, and I think this matchup generally would favor Lumineth otherwise. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this battle goes. Now, I am afraid of your catapults, as they can dish out the damage, and you get a couple through with 5 wounds. That's going to kill a lot of elves. So while that is a threat, Null Myriad really makes it a little bit harder to deal with your army. But I'm obviously, have ranged threats of my own. So I don't know how we got in this weird situation of elves defending a dwarven ruin in Shyish.
Yeah.
But we're just going to roll with it. OBR is rolling in, trying to...
collect the bone tithe.
Yes, exactly. I clearly haven't been paying the tithe. So with that, I did outdrop you in this, being a 3-drop here. You were 4, so it was pretty close. But I am going to have choice, and I am going to take the first turn here. I'm going to try and deal with some of your threats, get my own buffs up, so I have my 5-up Feel No Pain, because that's going to help me, against your catapults and whatnot. So I'm going to try and see what I can do to limit your damage output, and even your RDP generation, right? Because you're starting off with 8. So you're RDP rich right now in round 1. You will be, but we'll see if I can't do something about it.
All right.
So I will be taking a turn and going first, but just to go over our auxiliary objectives before we start, I chose Territorial as one of mine, so I have to hold this objective for 2 rounds. Pretty easy. And the second one I chose was Defender, so none of your units in my territory at the end of the battle.
All right.
I feel like, this game might end up a stalemate, but we'll see how it goes. What 2 did you choose?
I also chose Territorial, so choosing this one here.
Yep.
Where I'm sort of castled up around. And then the other one I chose was Marked for Death. So you need to pick a unit for me to not kill, or kill in my case.
So you want to kill it.
Yep.
So I'll choose this unit of 10 Wardens way in the back here. They're probably the safest thing, so you're going to have to go out of your way to really try and get to them. So that'll be my pick here. But as I said, starting the game off, going into Lumineth turn 1. All right, so Lumineth Turn 1 was a pretty quick turn. Jumping into casting right away, your Null Myriad ignoring spells paid off. I did Searing White Light through the spell portal and starting with 16 mortal wounds. And I think I only did 3 in total after your, between your 5 up ignores, and then you used 2 up ignore on your 2 heroes who would have taken a combined 9 mortal wounds. So already paying off huge, blunting the output of Teclis, and you're going to bring 2 of those guys back. Potentially from your Bone Shaper, anyways, so not really effective, but what I was trying to do was make you spend some of your RDP. You have so much that it doesn't really matter, but in this matchup and at these ranges, I don't really have many spells worth casting at this point, so I was trying to just doing it to fish for some mortals, do a little chip damage, wanted to get wounds on those 2 heroes primarily to actually hopefully help with killing them in shooting, because that was my goal, actually, to kill both those heroes, but didn't get any of the mortals with your spell saves. So when it came to shooting, after just kind of moving everything up, I had to focus all my shooting at your Liege Kavlos and just barely took him down because he failed all of his...
failed 7 death saves.
Failed 7. And you did unbind one of my Power of Hishes, so one of my archer units was only getting mortals on 6s, so... But I got what I wanted, which was really, killing your Liege Kavlos, which is going to, take out a huge chunk, a quarter of your shooting output potential, right? And reducing your RDP by, 2 moving forward throughout the game. So that was good. Otherwise, I deployed these guys out of Shining Company so I could run them turn 1, start pushing up towards that objectives. But my other units I did leave in just because of your catapult threat. -1 to hit is super helpful, so... just a few less shots going through makes a huge difference when they're doing 5 damage. But no charging or combat yet. Obviously, 24 inches apart and 2 slow armies. Mm-hmm. So we will be going into OBR turn 1 and then potentially the chance of the double.
Let's hope.
Yeah.
All right. So will be our turn 1, bottom of round 1. I spent RDP to move all 4 Mortec fast. And I still ended the turn with 4 extra unspent RDP.
Yep.
So she goes, and I won't be generating as much next turn because I am down 1 Liege Cavalos.
Yes. So.
But I popped Mortal Wound on the archers with the Bone Tithe Nexus. I shot the catapults, spreading out their shots at a bunch of different units. I did 2 archers died here and 7 died in the back.
So 7 total, or 10 total throughout the 3 units.
Yeah. So that was all right. Not as many as I could have, but definitely more than Jordan would have.
Yeah, I know. I didn't say it, but I was thinking, I'm like, man, he's rolling way better than I ever have with these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then these guys, they moved up, made a 9-inch charge, got in, killed 5.
I actually owe you a battle shot here. I lose 1 extra guy here, so not the worst. Could have gone worse than that for sure. And then over here, I'll do a 2-up on the unit with 3 remaining, so they're immune. This one, I'll lose 1 on a 6. Fine. Only 1 casualty lost from battle shock. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. So, going into the roll-off, Arcan is leading from the front. He's
being brave.
He's not going to enjoy it if Jordan wins this roll-off. Yeah, let's see what happens.
All right. Priority into 2. That's a 3.
6.
It's all yours.
All right.
So we will be going into Ossiarch Bonereapers turn 2.
Yes, sir. That's what I was hoping for. right, so OBR turn 2, top of round 2. I didn't get really anything off in the hero phase because that doesn't happen against Lumineth.
Well, especially Zaitrec and +2 to unbind, which is super anti-magic.
Yeah. Then this, everything just shuffled forward. Arcan went up on the wall, and then charged in to save the day.
Trying to take out some sentinels.
Yeah. The shooting this phase was less impressive than last. I killed 5 wardens, and that was it. Even the shooting from the Nexus, Jordan saved, so nothing there. Combat was not so impressive either. Arcan whiffed largely on the back of Shining Company. -1 to hit when you hit on 4s is awful.
Yeah.
These Mortec killed 4 more wardens. Jordan passed his battle shock with the Cathlar ability. Yeah. He activated and killed 8 of these Mortec before they got to go, so they're not long for this world, I fear.
But sticking around, tying me up in combat, keeping me in my zone.
Arcan is tying up the 2 archer units. They're going to have to shoot him because I was hoping that he would be able to teleport away with Protection of Nagash, but Jordan only did 1 wound to him, and then I saved it with Protection of Nagash, so I couldn't teleport. These Mortec only managed to kill 2 archer guys, sentinels. So I only killed 7 things.
Yeah,
not
8, because you killed another...
8 in combat and then 5 more to shooting, so 13 guys died. Not as many as I would have liked. When I was sending Arcan in, I was expecting him to wipe out those 2 units or at least put big dents in them.
Really, the story was the Shining Company.
Yeah.
Because even on the claws, which are 2 rend 2 or 1 rend 2 damage.
2 rend 2 damage.
2 rend 2 damage from the mount. You rolled 3 4s, no 5s or 6s, so they all failed.
Yeah.
So that was really big.
Yeah. And now Jordan could possibly double me back, which really exposes me because those Mortec are the only thing holding up that unit of wardens from getting into my catapults.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. So I don't have the turn. You only have 1 RDP, so most of your stuff won't be saving on the 2-up from mortal or from spells anymore. So I will have to pop off with my spells and hopefully start chipping some stuff down. And with the chance of the double going into 3, I could potentially retreat and run and just get on your objectives. Now, if I don't get priority, maybe that's a bad, wouldn't pan out. But that option is there of trying to go for the win early. But we'll see how the hero phase goes and what I want to do from there. So we'll be going into Lumineth turn 2. All right, so Lumineth Turn 2. At this point in the game, I wasn't really too worried about what we both had on the board. I felt pretty confident in terms of clearing things up. But I felt some of the challenges of Lumineth definitely in this turn. In conjunction with like your teleport on Arcan, potentially. I was actually trying to get him to teleport away in the hero phase. I cast like a bunch of spells at him trying to do 1 wound.
Yeah.
So he'd have to teleport. So not only could my archers choose what they wanted to shoot at, but he couldn't then also teleport away again. Also would have let my wardens move who were stuck there. And that actually came in huge because I hadn't broken Shining Company in your turn when I piled in, so I was still unable to run or charge. And since I didn't get to do a move, I didn't get to break Shining Company, meaning even though Arcan teleported away, I was hoping to make a charge move, but again, being in Shining, I couldn't even do that. So hurt me being there. So I really should have broken it on your turn, being that you'd already gotten all your catapult shots. Now's the time where I want to be moving up the field and pressure your objective. So that actually really hurt me. So in hindsight, I should have retreated this unit. I had been talking about potentially doing it, but that's the route I should have gone. So I could have broken Shining Company with the potential of the double turn, get onto that back objective. Now I still have the chance of doing that, but it's not a sure thing. Though right now, with kind of the positioning, I am set up if I do win a priority where I could pretty likely get on both of your objectives and get the major win here.
Yeah.
Which is obviously what I'm going to go for should I get the priority here. Otherwise, I shot off and finished off that unit of Mortec and finished these 2 off in combat. Over here, though, I only killed a couple, with the Mortec actually going toe-to-toe with the Wardens pretty well. Even with Power of Hish off and, my 5-up ward save, you're out-attritioning me there. That unit of 10 still has 4 remaining on your side, and they've killed, 13 Wardens now? So they're doing some good work.
Yeah.
And it's like our weak flanks right there fighting for it. But we'll go into priority and see where we go. It's a 6.
6.
And you win ties, so it'll go to you.
All right.
So with that, we'll go into round 3 with OBR going first.
Alrighty, so OBR turn 3, top of round 3. I went for the Hail Mary play.
Trying to get the cheeky major win.
Tried to get onto both objectives. So I retreated those guys out so they didn't get to kill off any more of them poor wardens. And I sent Arcan over here, and then I did my shooting, and all 6 shots went into the wardens. Jordan gave him +1 save, so I got 0 damage through, or
0 damage. Yeah. So worked out, being that you won priority, still being in Shining Company. I had -1 hit, and then I did the Aether Quartz for +1 save.
Yeah, so no damage through. Arcan really shouldn't have gone in at that point, but I did anyways because
I mean, there's no reason not to. Still going for that absolute long shot, but 1 in a million chance.
Yeah, and he whiffed every single attack. Jordan didn't even have to roll a save. And then I lost 4 more tech to the friggin' archers swinging at me. I just failed all my saves, even with the reroll. And then Techless got to pile in and take a bunch more out. So there's 2 more tech left there. There's a full unit of 10 over there, but
after the regeneration, right? That's huge. So.
Yeah.
You brought all your heroes up to full health as well.
For sure, yeah.
But
at this point, Jordan's just going to get onto my 2 objectives, I think, and win it.
Just trying to think, I actually have to take this objective back as well. It's not even a foregone conclusion that I can get the major here, which is kind of what we were talking about. So I think at this point, we just have to go into bottom of round 3 with Lumineth Realmlords turn coming up. All right, so finishing up Lumineth turn 3, cleaning up the board. As we can see, I was able to cast Lambent Light over on your unit of 10 Mortec, shoot a bunch of them off. Techless finished off, I think, the last 2. And then my Wardens just, took a chunk out of Arcan even without getting Power of Hysh off. So obviously that secures me my 2 objectives. I've used a run plus Speed of Hysh to get those guys onto that objective. And then my Shark went in over here, charging, not really dealing much damage or taking much back, but tying the catapults up. If you win priority, they have to shoot. They can't even shoot him. They have to spend a turn retreating out.
Yeah. And
then he can tag one or both of them again. Give me the opportunity to just run on the objective. So that's going to be the win for Lumineth here. Just the fact that you can't, at this point, stop me from taking that objective over the next 2 turns. There's no real way to prevent it, so it's going to be a big win for Lumineth. But this was your first time playing OBR, so we'd love to hear what you thought about the army.
If we had 40 more Mortec, I'd have brought 40 more Mortec. The 2 Bone Shapers really didn't do a whole lot. They brought back maybe 4 Mortec the whole game between the 2 of them. And with your Unbinding, they never got their spells off. The battalion, well, nice to get a free shield wall, really isn't necessary. I had enough RDP most of the time. So I could drop the 2 battalions, the 2 heroes, and pick up another 10 Mortec in each of the 4 units, and just be better off that way.
And that's, the Bonereapers, really, you're expecting at least to bring back 10 guys, right, over the course of the game.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they didn't earn their value. And that's, I've kind of haven't run them lately because of that, and they're small hero, easy to pick off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now they survived here, but
they didn't do
they
much.
were healing themselves, but yeah.
The catapults were good the first turn, and then less so the second turn, and then even less so the third turn.
Yeah.
Arcan wasn't really super good in this matchup just because you negate his spellcasting and your Shining Company prevents him from doing any damage whatsoever.
Yeah.
I think Catacross and Mortec, maybe you throw Arcan in there too for some healing, but Catacross, Mortec, and some catapults might be a better list to run next time. But
yeah, then you still have the +1 attack. You're giving everything +1 save and hit, which helps a lot. I think
the Null Myriad was good, being able to just negate your Lambent Light when I wanted to on the first turn.
Yeah. And how even that my turn just passed, there was maybe 14 mortal wounds, and you negated all of them.
Yeah.
Just on making everything 2-ups. I actually didn't expect you to push up turn 2, really turn 1, as fast as you did. I kind of expected you to kind of just sit back and play the long game, almost trying to catapult me off.
But
and you were really effective on this side, being that's where you attacked first, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Being forced to choose my activations and then you getting 2 hurts because
if you're sending 3 units in combat, 2 of them were getting hit first, which is not great. Now there were a couple times like with Arcan where you're like, your best chance is this long shot. You're throwing him just for the heck of it. So not necessarily more of a flavor play than a strategy play, but
yeah, I could have been arcane bolting you the whole time every turn. But it just isn't even worth the risk because you're going to reflect them back at me 50% of the time. Yeah. I never even tried to cast Curse of Years.
No, and that's not the most reliable spell, I've learned. But it can pop off sometimes.
Yeah, ask Eltharion how he felt about that.
Yeah. No, I don't want to talk about it. But here, good showing for Lumineth. I obviously shut down a lot of your casting here with +2 to Unbind. I'm also kind of built to anti-magic, right?
Yeah.
And then even we were both kind of running out of spells because we couldn't really use any of our offensive spells because we were just ignoring them from each other. Though you did get the 1/3 that you cast.
Yeah.
Then you did
Bone Shard or whatever.
Yeah, you did 5 mortals, but then I saved 3 of them, so not the most effective in the end. But and then just to go over auxiliaries real quick. We both would have gotten our territorials, holding our objectives. No question about that.
Yeah, I got on yours turn 3, but you got on mine turn 3. But we only needed to hold it for the first 2.
Yeah, exactly. And then defender, I think I would be able to hold, keep you out of my 2 more rounds to finish off your 2 heroes. Your catapults aren't getting into my territory, so.
Yeah, and then marked for death. This unit, I could have killed them, but I went for I could have possibly killed them, but I went for the go big or go home, getting on, trying to take both objectives in turn 3.
And we were kind of talking about the high risk play versus the more points out of a minor loss technically than a major loss. Doesn't matter because we're not in an event here. But if it was an event, you could have stayed there, gone for the minor loss.
Yeah, prevented you from taking mine, killed that unit to get another secondary.
Yeah, so. Could have, potentially would have been playing it differently if we were in an event. So just worth calling that out. So with that, I think we can wrap up the game here. Lumineth getting the win against OBR, but again, Alex, your first time playing these guys, so I'm sure you'll get more experience with them in the future.
Yep.
But as always, I want to say a big thank you to everyone for watching, and especially to our premium members who've really made this channel evolve and grow with not only their feedback, but support that's allowed us to do things like add new terrain tables. We have our audio equipment just arrived, so once we have a chance to set that up, we'll be able to improve our audio quality, which will be awesome. And also voting on our matchups. Didn't mention it at the start, but our premium members did vote for this matchup. But again, big thank you to everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed this battle report, and we'll see you again next time.
Take care.